Hey everyone, Eggman here with another video, and I am joined here with Ryan Isaac, who played Yamato in this past Treasure Cup for Core TCG. And how do you do this weekend?
I ended up getting 12th place, so solid top 16 finish with brand new leader, the one that I really enjoy. So it was good to like showcase her a little bit
Hmm.
and come out with the top. So
Yeah,
yeah,
for sure. This is the first weekend. This is a leader that's legal for the North American, and I think you're the first person to top a huge event with it, which is really cool. And I was doing commentary for this event, but if I was playing, it was definitely the leader I had my eyes on. So I'm really happy that you're able to get a top with it.
yeah, me too. Especially last weekend, I went 7-3 and bubbled out.
Oh yeah,
So being able to get in there this time was nice.
yeah. What were you using last weekend?
I was running Big Mom, the
Okay,
starter
okay.
deck Big Mom.
Okay,
So
yeah, you are. We have like the same wavelength then, because I definitely like playing that on top of Katakuri instead. So
yeah,
the more
same.
control aspects for it's really nice.
Hmm.
So, well, if you guys don't know what this new leader does, it's a five life 5K leader. It's yellow. It's Land of Wano, and it has an effect of Dawn times one. If you have two or less life, you're able to be a 6K on your opponent's turn, and being able to be a 6K even on just defense is just very strong in this game right now.
Yeah, I mean, we all see how Newgate does.
Yeah.
So being able to be the yellow Newgate is really nice.
Yeah, yeah, it's very strong. You aren't a Big Mom Pirate, so you don't get to play the 10 drop in this deck, but I think that's literally the only negative for it. It's positives from pretty much everywhere else.
Yep.
So, but we're gonna look at the rest of this list, and I'm really excited to see it. And let's start off with the top end there.
Okay. So starting off, running my 2K counters, which I run 15 in this deck.
Dang.
Um, I run the 4 Strucin.
Mm-hmm.
Um, this card has probably the most utility out of all of them as well, being able to pop those like choppers
Yeah.
and so maybe some pesky like buggies or something against Zoro. I run the 4 2K starter puddings. I run the 4 Sanjis,
Mm-hmm.
and then I run 3 of the new starter Yamato 2K.
Yeah. And these are all of the 2Ks that Yellow has in the game right now, right? I'm pretty sure.
Yes,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, that this is the only 2Ks they have. Yeah.
Yeah. Obviously, Struzen's the most searchable. Pudding and Sanji are kind of like half searchable, and then Yamato has
Mm.
no search capability.
Right. Yeah. And the Yamato, like I wanted the extra 2Ks, but she does provide some cases where you might play her down.
Yeah.
If you're able to comfortably like accelerate your life and, you know, get another card in hand and be a 5K body till your next turn.
Yeah.
So there's some value that she has there, which is nice.
Yeah, and sometimes you do just want to have something that can trade into like your opponent's like one drops and two drops, especially against Zoro, I assume.
Yeah, it's really nice against Zoro because like playing Sanji, like who Sanji has a great effect for sure,
Yeah.
but playing Sanji into Zoro, like if they're running Vista, he gets Vista.
Yeah.
He gets Marcoed for
Mm-hmm.
sure. And then I've even seen like, some other builds like, running like Nico Robbins and
Sure.
things like that. And this Yamato gets around that, which
Yeah.
is nice.
Which is really nice. Well, cool. Yeah, I think it makes sense to run a lot of 2Ks, especially like what you're probably taking life pretty quickly until you get down to two, and then you're really defensive, and then getting free 2K count. I mean, getting to what 8K for one card on this leader is very
Yeah,
strong.
yeah, for sure. So next I'll go with the like the early to mid game plays
Mm-hmm.
really. Of course you have the 4 puddings.
Yeah.
Searches most of the deck, can't hit the event or the vanilla 5 or the 2K counter, but for the most part, you don't really whiff with it.
Mm-hmm.
Can happen, but and then I've got the 4 Parasparrows, same kind of thing, obviously. The 4 crackers.
Yeah. And I would say quickly, like these are pretty much in every deck, I think, for yellow at this point at four
Yeah,
copies.
it's
So
pretty standard, right? Hitting cracker off trigger is insane.
mm-hmm.
This card is just ultimate value off trigger.
Yeah.
Same with the Parasparrow, right? And The one thing I like about the Parasparrow in this deck is I can be really aggressive with Parasparrow,
Mm-hmm.
because I don't mind him dying usually. It gets me another counter in most cases, or my top end.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas sometimes when I was playing Yellow Big Mom, I didn't always want to let him die because
Mm-hmm.
you had to play that like weird Dawn balance until you could get value off of Big Mom's effect. So,
Yeah, that's fair.
and then I run the 4 Rush Katakuri.
Oh, all four. Dang,
Um,
I think I saw like we saw some of your games on stream, and I think you played like two, maybe three out. But what's your thoughts on these guys?
this card is pretty much like the MVP.
Okay.
It is so good. It has a dual effect, like in this version specifically, right? Being able to pop check and put those arrows to the bottom if you want,
Mm-hmm.
is really nice. And it's live a lot in this deck. So having that rush, like the game I lost to the Zoro player that won. If I was digging for another rush Katakuri,
Yeah.
I'd probably win the game if I can get that rush Katakuri. So
Yeah.
there are several games today where I just let the attack go through, put me less life, and drop one or two of these, and it's
Makes a
insane.
huge
So I
difference. Yeah.
really, really like this card. Like I said, probably the MVP today. I'd say the other MVP is just the going first curve.
Yeah.
If you hit that, the golden curve, which moving right into the 4/5 drop
Yamato. Yeah.
Yamatos.
Really like this
These
card.
this card on being able to go putting into Pero into this
Yeah.
is insanely strong.
Yeah.
The value this brings against like the pride and popularity of Fire Fist
Mm-hmm.
is crazy. They
Yeah.
have to do so much more like resource wise to get rid of this. And the pressure it provides with everything else you got going on is great.
Mm-hmm.
I really love this card.
Yeah,
Build,
like they
so
have to run Gordon, and I think that's a tech choice at this point. It's not common, so or as
right.
common, so but it, yeah, I think that's pretty. It's a very good card. I love it on curve. It's fantastic.
Yeah, on curve. Anytime I saw this stuff on perfect curve, and moving into my top end, you could say,
Yeah,
if I saw that perfect curve, it was really hard to lose.
yeah.
So going into the top end, I run the 4 of the 7 drop Lin Lin
Mm-hmm.
and the 2 Pedigree. So like I said, playing this card on curve is nuts,
Mm-hmm.
especially if you had everything else. And what I really like about running the Yamato leader is you can drop a second one of these on 9 Dawn,
Yes, you can.
have the 1 Dawn on lead with a 1 Dawn backing up for arrow.
Mm-hmm.
And that play is really punishing.
Mm-hmm.
And so yeah, I want to see this almost immediately
Yeah.
and make sure that I've got it. So like my typical mulligans would be looking for a solid mid play and then the 7.
Yeah.
Um,
Do
and then
you find so I think is Pero the only 3 drop you run?
yes,
Yeah.
well there's the 2K.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
motto,
Okay.
so.
Gotcha. So would you play that on backup if you didn't see the Pero? I'm guessing, or
Dependent matchup dependent. Yeah,
sure.
I
Okay.
think if there are other times where I didn't run into like a Lucci today, but
Okay.
in a lot of my testing, if I would go pudding and then not have anything, I would just do the double 5K, do the pudding 5K, and then lead 5K swing.
Sure.
Put some extra pressure, but really, really want to see the Perisphero, obviously, but having the Yamato as a backup is nice.
Yeah.
And then 8-drop Katakuri, he's there to remove threat. He's a big body. I like it at 2. I've been toying with the idea of 3, but there are so many times where I get more value out of double 7
Yeah.
than the Katakuri. But Katakuri is obviously really good in the mirror. You get rid of their 7, their 8 Katakuri. Good against any kind of green shenanigans, gets rid of like anything in green.
Yeah, like their like the 8-drop kid is,
Yeah.
gets hit by that pretty hard.
I mostly just keep him around to deal with threats if I need him. So I'll grab him off a search or something and hold on to him if I need him.
Mm-hmm.
Matchup dependent, but still ends up being an 8K body, really strong. And I guess you have that outside time where you might want to like heal a pudding to your life, but
Yeah.
I think controlling the board tempo is a lot nicer. So being able to get rid of a threat and know what their last trigger is going to be is really good.
Yeah, yeah. Especially if it's something without any counter power, and you can just be like, well,
Yeah,
if a 7 hit the last second to last life, it's gonna definitely hit this next one. So
yeah, for sure. So moving on, the rest of them are my event. I run 9 events. 4 Thunderbolt. I run 4 of the Arrow,
Yeah,
and then 1 Ikoku Sovereignty.
yeah.
So
You're wild.
uh,
That's a lot of events.
Thunderbolt is absolutely disgusting in the deck. It's there are so many times where I want to play this from hand.
Hmm.
Obviously, we all know the pain of
Yeah,
triggering getting hit by a triggered Thunderbolt.
yeah.
It's nuts when that happens. But there are so many times I want to play this like from hand,
Hmm.
get me where I want to be, remove a threat, and then a lot of times I love saving one, right? I think my last round I popped a Marco blocker with it, like
Yeah, yeah. That
being
feels
able
very
to,
good. Yeah.
yeah. So we all know this card's nuts and trigger, and it works, I think, better in the deck, like in your hand, than others. Obviously, like starter Big Mom, it's nice to have it,
Yeah.
swap things out, do stuff. But this is really the deck that like thrives on actually playing this from hand.
Hmm. Yeah, and
Um,
especially since you play 4 of the rush category, there can be
yeah.
I bet some scenarios even this weekend where you are even at life, thunderbolt something scary
Hmm.
away, attack in, and you get that you get rush with it, which is really nice.
Yeah, being able to control your own like whether Rush Cat is live or not is really
Hmm.
nice.
Yeah.
So run 4 of the new event, the Arrow. It
Hmm.
is really good.
Yeah, it's
It's a
just
really
yeah,
good card.
it's fantastic. Yeah. Yeah.
It has that discard 2 heal 1 trigger, right?
Yeah.
So being able to like stack one to the bottom with a category is nice.
Hmm.
But overall, the counter swing power that you have, like with your 6K lead
Hmm.
plus the -3K to leader or character, so good. And this card, I think, like I wouldn't say like alone. Yellow's pretty solid into
Yeah.
black, like as is, but like this really hurts Lucci.
Hmm.
This kind of eliminates any like Lucci play
Restand.
that they
Yeah.
have in mind.
Yeah.
And
I super agree.
yeah, and and it hits Kid as well. He's a
Hmm.
little less played, but being able to hit that leader, um, you know, you got to
It
watch out
becomes
for
a
Fiery Doll
yeah,
and
but it
stuff
becomes
like
a
that.
6K,
So
right? Like it's
yeah,
yeah, it's fantastic for
yeah,
1.
yeah, for 1 cost, which you were very easily able to leave like Donna in this
Yeah,
deck.
and I think we
Very similar.
talked to her, like our biggest play is category for 8, 1 for lead, and then you leave another one open for the arrow, right?
Right, exactly. And then I'll run one of the Ikoku Sovereignty. It's just something I was kind of like testing out, and there are a lot of times where I could comfortably leave up Greed on.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, let's give it a test. And I really like how it played. It's searchable,
Mm-hmm.
so it gives you an extra like searchable counter target if you need it. Has that same value trigger if you need it in a dire situation. And it's just a really big counter. I mean,
Yeah.
5K is pretty nuts. So
And there's also the mind game. Once they see 1, they're like, and you just once you leave a turn open with 2 open, they're just going to be like, oh, I have to always be cognizant of a 5K out of it, right?
yeah, for sure. I mean the match against Zoro today, I left
Oh
the
yeah,
2 open.
you
Where
had
I was
2
stuck with
thunderbolts.
2
Yeah,
thunderbolts.
yeah.
I was stuck with 2 thunderbolts, but I left this open, and he took it hard and
Yeah.
really considered doing the Marco like safe play.
Yeah, you
And I
knew
think
you
if he had
lost
done that, he would have.
5 minutes
Yeah,
ago, but you're like, I'm making them sweat. Like,
yeah, I was making him sweat on that one. I was like, because I was like, man, I did not draw what I needed, but I was
hmm
like, you know what, well, I had enough counter power to like I think like make him sweat, and it
hmm
did.
yeah,
So
yeah,
I like that. It was nice.
that
So,
was very fun. Yeah. So, real quick. So, yeah, a lot of events. You don't necessarily like you aren't running Shirahoshi to get
Right.
those out of your hands. So I can see
Right.
those being kind of clunky. And also, yellow doesn't have obviously like fantastic blockers to play out, right? But
Right.
did you miss blockers at all today?
Nope.
Okay.
There was not really a time that I would have wanted. Like, I mean, the only blocker right now is Brule.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, with the next set, like you get something a little
Yes.
bit better, right?
Yeah, and generic support for
So
Yamato too in the new
yeah,
9 drop. So,
exactly.
but
So just that playing that Whitebeard like esque and like end game
mm-hmm.
with high counter power worked out really well. As far as like some of the events being like clunky, they are Strucin targets, so
Sure.
that's
Oh,
really
that's
nice.
fair. That's fair.
So there were several times where like I popped a chopper with
Mm-hmm.
playing a Strucin and discarding a Thunderbolt, so
That's fair. That's really
um,
fair. So cool.
I yeah, in general, it performed like pretty well with the no blockers. So
Yeah. Any quickly? We had 9 rounds. You said did you play like
mhm.
5 Zoros?
I played six
6
Zoros.
Zoros.
So
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
I played six Zoros, ended up going 5-1 against Zoro.
Yeah. Which
So
is
this deck feels really strong against Zoro.
yeah.
Like I'd say arguably Zoro's worst matchup right now.
Yeah. Yeah. Becoming
It's
a 6K, having like burn damage and like just really good value, they have a hard time like answering a lot of your stuff very, very cleanly, I feel like.
yeah. I played red. I played Luffy.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I played a mirror match, and then what was it? And then Whitebeard.
Whitebeard.
So the Whitebeard matchup is the one matchup I'm still like workshopping. That one's tough, right? Because
Yeah.
I want to go first, but against Whitebeard, I think it might be better to go second.
I'm in
So
the same thing.
it's
Like going second's
yeah,
nice. The 7 drop you have to like you only get to use it like once the entire game, which feels really bad.
yeah,
Cracker never gets value, and
right,
Katakuri never gets like the 6 or the 4 drop. So all that's kind
yeah,
of tough and weird.
yeah. So that's the one matchup that is. I mean, it's definitely very winnable, and I
Mm-hmm.
think this deck has a good shot against Whitebeard. Whereas the other ones, if you're not seeing like if you can't comfortably drop like double 10 drop,
Yeah.
you're probably in a bad place. I
Mm-hmm.
think this one it can kind of match that curve and match like with the tech. So I think it's solid. Just need a little more testing on it. But I think
Yeah.
going second is the route you want to go for Whitebeard.
Yeah, I agree. I have a lot of back and forth with it too, but I think this is you can definitely tailor the deck I think to win that matchup and just kind of balancing that cost for it.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm gonna play around with it. I'll be at Orlando,
Oh,
so
cool, cool.
I'll probably be taking this deck to Orlando. So we'll see how it goes.
Sounds good. Well, I really appreciate you sitting down and talking through the deck. I know you're probably tired. It was a long day, but well earned, and happy for that top 16. And any more shout outs before we end this video?
I just want to shout out everyone in the Austin and Houston community
Mm-hmm.
here in Texas. They provide like we got a really good competitive group of people, and it helps a lot when you got a lot of testing and stuff, and they're all great. They're all really supportive, cheering
Mm-hmm.
me on today. So yeah, man,
Yeah, well, I'm glad to hear
definitely
that.
it.
There's so many of those scenes that people telling me I've had so many people like, yeah, we're really competitive, and I'm happy to hear that. There's all these groups around
Yeah.
North America for that. So, and I appreciate you again sitting down, and also for anyone interested, the rest of the top 16, I'll have that video out probably tomorrow as of this one dropping. But appreciate you guys hanging out again. Thank you to Ryan for doing this interview with me, and hope to catch you all next time.